What's up, world? It's your host with the most, Mecca God, Yakini Underground TV. Like to welcome y'all to episode 5. Now, when we get to 5, 10, 15, 20, them gonna be special episodes where we take deep dives into certain topics and issues. And today, we're gonna be talking about tracing your roots. Now, all skin folks ain't kin folks. And I hear a lot of the black community always talk about reparations. And on down the line, we're going to get into them topics. But you might need to do some tracing your roots, man. Because you might find out that your descendants was never slaves. Or you might find out that your people never came from Africa. Or you might find out that your people actually own slaves. Or you might find out that your ancestors was free people of color. Or you might find out that your people wasn't Cherokee, but they was indigenous people of this land. You might find out that you might have some white ancestors. You might find out that you might have some black ancestors that actually came from Europe. Now, on the last episode, we did conspiracy theories and religion. And what's funny to me is that black people want to say everything is racist. Oh, we going through all this stuff that our ancestors went through. We ain't went nowhere near what they went through for real, and they was going against real oppression, real laws stopping them from doing stuff, and they still live better than us. They still own more stuff than us, and they still have more land than us. Make it make sense. But anyway, conspiracy theory, how come they can have pictures of Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass? Frederick Douglass was a runaway fugitive slave, but he the most photographed man of the 19th century. Make it make sense. Nat Turner had a rebellion. He hid out for weeks because they couldn't pick him out amongst the Indians. Make it make sense. So we gonna go down this rabbit hole a little bit, tracing your roots. We starting off with a piece of me. I started my genealogy research back in 2008. When my daughter was born, she came out to be albino. So when she was born 2 pounds, 13 ounces. And she was in the incubator, and we had to stay at the Ronald McDonald House until she got big enough for us to take her home. But it was some people that was interested in my daughter because they never had an albino person be born in a hospital before. And that started my journey to tracing my roots back when the internet was still on home computer, desktop, the big monster and everything. And here today in 2024, 16 years later, I done traced my family roots to 1695, and I chose to stop right there. I could have probably kept going, but at that point, I done fulfilled my purpose. I done went from me born in 1984 to 1695, and I have yet to meet one ancestor that got off the boat. Now, in this episode, we're going to watch a clip from UBTV, Lost at Home. Some of you people lost over here at home, and I just posed a question to you. Who is the only people that had their identity changed more than once? And like I was saying before, Frederick Douglass was the most photographed man in the 18th century. But when you go through slavery, they don't show you no pictures of nobody picking cotton on plantations. They don't show you none of the slave auctions. Even though these motherfuckers got documented paperwork on people back then, they ain't got no pictures of nobody getting off slave ships. All of it is drawings. If I'm lying, go find me a video, picture, all that. And but everything I ever seen in my life is drawings. So we gonna do Lost at Home. Some of you sick sailors like Antoine Fisher, you need a healing, you need to wait.
The story of melanated people here in America isn't one of triumph and justice, but rather a story of cruelty, oppression, and slavery. But these characteristics are the very same characteristics that have molded the most resilient group of people in the history of the world. A culture seemingly wiped away still evolved from the bowels of oppression to become the most dominant cultural influence on the face of the earth. Lost in the years of oppression is the hidden true history of these illustrious people, and hidden within that lost history is the identity of who these people truly are. Unable to be hidden, the truth reveals itself within the area between the lines in the words of history. The path to truth is being blazed through our understanding of the past. History didn't begin for these people in 1492. However, the pages of history have conveniently forgotten who these people were, or more accurately, misrepresented these people and concealed their true identity. Europeans have always differentiated policies from country to country and consistently warred amongst themselves for centuries. But when it came to the oppression of melanated people in America, there was universal agreement. Exploitation by any means to the ultimate goal of domination. But these copper tribes from America would not allow themselves to be dominated. Contrary to historical perspective, Black Indians had courageously defended their homes for centuries throughout the period of Euro colonialization in America. And it wasn't until Europeans had infected over half the population with disease that the natives would start to lose control of their own land. Yet, it still took over half of Europe's enemies working together to obtain any military control of the land. After centuries of campaigns by the French, the Spanish, the British, and even the Dutch, Europeans would finally gain control of the land. The spoils of war go to the conqueror. Along with those spoils, the conqueror's narrative of history. And and the stolen past is repackaged and reappropriated in whiteface.
Back in the building, you know it's me, Yakini. We just got done watching UBTV. Hey man, like I said, some of y'all need to trace y'all history. Y'all don't know nothing. You probably don't even know who your great grandparents was, your second great grandparents. Now, we only been under Democratic control since 1965, so that's only what, 60 years. Slavery was what, 150 years ago, 160 years ago. You done had many ancestors between here and 160 years. You might find out some of them is free people of color. You might find out some of them was slave owners. You might find out some of them was part of a tribe. You might find out you come from white Europeans. You might find out you come from Spanish conquistadors. You might find out you was a slave. But one thing you not gonna find is that you came off a boat from Africa. If you find that you came off a boat from Africa, let me know. I did a lot of ancestry. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2008. I only seen one person get off a ship in 1795 from West Africa, and he became an indentured servant, just like everybody else that came to America that was a indentured servant. But if you was a indigenous person of this land, you became a prisoner of war. From 1776 to the Civil War, it was a lot of wars in America, and it was against indigenous people of this country. Shout out to the Muskogees, Chickasaw, Creek, Seminole, Yamasees, the Gullas. Shout out to the Iroquois, Cherokee, Mohawk. Shout out to the Shawnee, the Potomac, the Blackfoot, the Comanche, the Navajo, the Apache, the Hopi, the Dakotas, the Lakotas, the Osage, Crow, Miami, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, Winnebago. Shout out to all the people that had to walk the treasure chairs. We should get a later on episode of the number one worst president of U.S. history, Andrew Jackson, the dude on the $20 bill. Let's keep these videos.
It is understood without doubt that Europeans were the sworn enemies of these black Indians. But Europeans wouldn't be their only opposition. This European domination doesn't happen without the help of other tribes, which is exactly why the pages of history only picture a certain type of American Indian. Some tribes sold other tribes out. For fear of domination, they bowed under the sword of Jesus to ensure their survival. These were the tribes that sided with colonialists during battle and also participated in the slavery of black natives. This group of natives were even employed by Europeans as guides and slave catchers. As Europeans rolled the dice in the game of divide and conquer, certain tribes would even help those Europeans raid other tribes and capture and sell any captive to a conquistador. rival nations descended into back and forth wars of payback, revenge, and retaliation. Destructive battles fostered at the hands of white Europeans. Even the tribes who helped the colonialists were eventually robbed from most of their land during Western expansion and relegated to reservations. Some of those reservations as small as a concentration camp. Any tribe that sided with colonialists was guaranteed some remnants of cultural sustainability. Any other people were disintegrated, stolen, and suppressed into oblivion.
We back. Now, if you've been watching my videos and you made it to episode 5 and you started from 1 to 5, you see how we putting these pieces of puzzle together. Now, ain't no way that these people that had a strip, if you go look at the map of the 13 colonies, that had this little stretch of land, who all of a sudden got the Louisiana Purchase when Napoleon conquered Egypt, and they started moving westward. How did they have the numbers to beat the indigenous people that was already living in that land? Because people sold us out. And you can't say that's not true today, because when black people start getting ahead, it's not a white person that bring them down. And if it is a white person that bring them down, it's a Negro that helped them. Go look at the story of history, how they take Fred Hampton down, how they take Michael, how they take all the people down through their own people. Through their own people. And now today, in modern day time, we got the Boule doing the same thing. Let's get into part.
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.